みましょう。
Hello everybody and welcome to this latest video update on Dead or Alive 6. I'm happy to say that it is a very positive one after all the controversy that the game went through over the last couple of weeks with its exploitative price practices and hair colour changes. That's the nicest way I can put that, I guess. It is nice to just be entirely enthusiastic about an update, and this week we got a new character to play as and she is really great. I'm very happy to say that. Tamaki, her name is. She comes to us from the free-to-play gacha supported Dead or Alive Extreme 3 on PC. Now that game had a lot of original characters created for it. In fact, there might still be more characters on the way. I haven't followed that one for a while. But of those characters, Tamaki is the first one to make her way back into the main roster of Dead or Alive 6. I had my predictions on it being Misaki, mostly because Misaki is actually available on the Switch and PS4 versions of Dead or Alive Extreme 3 as well, whereas Tamaki's been exclusive to the PC one. But it is what it is, and I'm very happy to say she's great, and I think she adds a lot to the roster, actually. She brings a new fighting style and attitude, and it's a really good addition, so well done to Koei up front for that. So Tamaki uses the Aikido style of martial art. If you're familiar enough with martial arts, then you've almost certainly heard of Aikido. It is a very popular modern Japanese martial art, and it is used by a lot of people that are pretty well known in the martial arts space. If you watch enough terrible B-grade movies, for example, you would have seen at least one movie from Steven Seagal, that American actor. His martial art, in which he's actually very highly ranked, is actually Aikido. So that's where the celebrity angle comes in, and it is an interesting martial art that I wasn't sure how it would translate to Dead or Alive, because Dead or Alive is a game that's very heavily focused on the strikes, punches and kicks and basically doing damage to your opponent, whereas Aikido was designed as a martial art self-defense that would not hurt your opponent, or not really badly hurt your opponent. It's basically about getting in close to your opponent, shifting momentum, putting them on their back. Basically, it's very focused on kind of throws and unbalancing your opponent, and it's a very technical martial art, of course. And it was going to be interesting when I heard that Tamaki would be using Aikido. I was really keen to see how the developers went about trying to make her work within a fighting game, which is once again focused very heavily on the strikes. Now, when I started to use Tamaki, I tried to play with her as I imagine Aikido would work, which is basically to wait for your opponent to step in, focus very heavily on the counters and the throws and all of that kind of stuff. And as a result, my attacks lack fluidity right now. I've only been playing with Tamaki for a couple of hours, if that, maybe even only an hour. Not that long at all. So I'm definitely not familiar with how her kind of attacks and combos string together. When I play against Tamaki as the AI, I certainly see a lot of fluidity in her movements, so there's obviously a learning curve there that I've got to get a hang of, but I really am enjoying the process. I'm not usually a person that uses the throw and the throw heavy characters in Dead or Alive, like Tina or Bass or whatever. I usually don't use those characters, but Tamaki is she's a really appealing character with a very smooth, elegant, kind of graceful fighting style, which I'm really enjoying. And of course it helps that she's got green hair. As everybody knows, I do like my characters to have green hair in these things. So that certainly helps. She's a good character. I have not played Dead or Alive Extreme 3, so I don't know what her personality is like from the kind of that game and the limited bits of story that go into that game. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying her personality that's coming through the fighting and the little clips that you get at the start and end of each fighting match. On that note, one of the things I would like to see Koei do a little bit better when they introduce new characters to Dead or Alive 6 would be to give them a little bit of a story mode inclusion, or to build them into the story mode in some minor way. It doesn't have to be anything major, but a little clip or two that shows the character interacting with the other characters in the game would certainly help make that character feel like they've been actually added to the roster, rather than just kind of thrown onto the fight select screen. And I know people don't generally play Dead or Alive for the story mode, and I know that it's not, once you've played it through once, it's not something that you return to, but this game is so heavily focused on its characters and making you really pick your favorite character and master them, it would help to have a sense of the personality of the character, even if it is just a short clip, a short cutscene, a single fight with another character, and then a short cutscene at the end to create something of a story angle to it. That is one thing that I do think is missing from the character additions to Dead or Alive 6, but it is a minor thing, and like I said, I still get a good sense of personality from Tamaki, and I am enjoying her character, so it is a minor thing, but it's worth noting, I guess. Okay, so to talk about the other addition to Dead or Alive 6 this week, there were some new costumes. Not that many of them, only 6 in total, not including all of Tamaki's new costumes, so she's got a whole bunch: swimsuit, a costume that's literally lingerie, and then of course a couple of kind of fun ones like a pirate suit and dress. So she's got a bunch of costumes right up front, but on top of that, Koei Tecmo released 6 costumes for various characters. You just saw Phase 4 have 1 costume. You would have seen earlier clips of Nico and Marie Rose, which there's Marie Rose right there. That's her new costume. I think, who else gets a costume? Honoka gets a costume, and to be honest, I can't remember who else. I think it's Miller who gets a costume as well. Anyway, these costumes are actually the design contest costumes for this year. So Koei Tecmo invites fans to put a costume on their favorite character, and the winners are the ones that get implemented, which is a really nice touch and a nice bit of fan engagement. I know that you could probably make comments that they're not getting paid, despite the fact that Koei's actually charging for this stuff. But to be honest, as a hardcore fan, you probably don't mind contributing anyway, just to have your favorite costume there. It's not dissimilar to the way that the Hatsune Miku games have a whole bunch of costumes that have been designed by fans at one point or another, and it feels good to be that level of participation with your favorite game. And through it, you obviously get a sense of the kind of character that these fans have in mind when they're looking at the characters. So Marie Rose has that cute little kind of 2-bob hairdo and a rather pretty dress, because obviously the fans of Marie Rose see her as quite the cute character. Whereas Nico's got a more, well, it's almost like a pirate thing really, and it shows, I guess, a sexier side. There's the ninja costume for Phase 4 is really cool. It's a head-to-toe kind of body one, which is really very, very ninja. And Miller's got a pretty neat costume as well, which isn't that dissimilar to her base costume. It's got a tattoo this time on her hip, and that's a good touch as well. There's Honoka's costume there, which is ridiculous, but then Honoka's pretty ridiculous. I've never been a huge fan of Honoka, I must admit. She is weird. A weird parody of the Love Life character, I believe. Anyway, that aside, the other costume that you're seeing there is the lingerie one. It's actually lingerie for Tamaki. So that's Koei playing with the Dead or Alive Extreme roots for the game. She's a very sexy character. She's got very provocative poses when she wins matches, and her heat attack, or whatever it's called, the super attack that she can execute, it's also quite suggestive, to put it that way. So she fits right in with the cast, obviously. The more fan servicey side of the game. Here's the special attack there. So yeah, she fits in nicely and does match with I guess the other characters. So with this release, we are at the end of Season 4 in terms of the Season Passes. There's no more contents to come for this Season Pass with Dead or Alive 6. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that there will be a Season 5, and it will probably be announced quite soon. And that will no doubt bring another couple of sets of costumes. It'd be nice if there was another character in there, but at this stage it'd also be nice if there's a new stage. Actually, it's been quite a while since we've had a new stage to play on, and as much as I do enjoy the Dead or Alive 6 stages, a little bit more variety would be good there at this point in time. But I'm sure that whatever happens, that'll be nice and controversial, because people will feel like they've had to pay again, and not without reason, I guess. Dead or Alive is quite an expensive hobby, as I've said numerous times on these videos in the past, and it's quite blatantly obvious. So obviously so for everybody, but I love it anyway, and I'm going to continue loving it, no doubt. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you as always for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos so I can do lots more of them. And please do back me on Patreon. Even $1 per month will help me to really expand what I'm doing here, and that's what I ultimately want to do. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.